What's up, natural bodybuilding world? This is John Bossy here at the 2012 Mr. Olympia Expo, doing a little coverage from Mike Newman's Inside Natural Bodybuilding. I'm here with two men that need no introduction, the student and teacher, Layne Norton and Ryan Doris. How's it going, guys?
We're totally serious.
Can you hear me?
Serious.
Dead serious. Can you hear you now? Can you hear you now? Good.
Yeah,
No, we got you.
Well, man. It's a busy day. It's the first day, so just excited to be out here. Always glad to meet people domestically, especially internationally. When you meet people, you know that's like the greatest thing that you've touched a little bit. So just happy to be here, man. So
Come at me, bro.
All right. Fair enough.
I think he's jelly.
Trolling
Probably something you could say after Ryan's recent performances at the at the Natural Universe and the Pro International. Congratulations.
Thank you, dude. It was a good year.
So a question Mike had that he wanted me to ask was, what is the difference prepping Ryan for a show versus, say, some of the other competitors you work with? Obviously, he's a pretty gifted individual, and we know he works extremely hard. So what did you throw at him this time around?
He complains less. No, I'm just no. In all actuality, Ryan, is one of those people that I consider as you'll have that. Ryan is one of those people I consider that, if he doesn't do well, I honestly have to mess him up, like for him to do bad, like because he's a hard worker, he's got good genetics and just amazing work ethic. So like to mess somebody up like that, that's why I always like kind of chuckle at these other goofballs who are coaches who like have really good clients and they can't get them to come in shape. It's like, dude, you realize you like actually have to like almost actively try to mess somebody like a Ryan Doris up. A Patricia Beckman, that sort of, level of athlete, So yeah, I mean, for him, it's just, making sure he's sending me the updates and, just tweaking stuff. But he's easy, man. I feel like, I shouldn't even get paid for prepping somebody like him. You know what I mean? Like, it really is easy. So, but it's, Ryan is one of those guys I consider to be like the next generation of, great natural bodybuilders. Who has, that effect on people, very engaging, very intelligent, and also one of the things about the people that work with me, you notice, and I push this, is integrity. Like, I don't want to work with people. If you're a jerk off, I don't want to work with you. Like, I probably turn 50-60% of people away, and I'm not saying they're all jerks or anything. A lot of times it's just I don't feel like that's, I'm an appropriate coach for them, or we might not mesh well, that sort of thing, or I'm full, But I've had some people where I'm like, nah, I don't want to work with this person because I've seen the way they act, you know what I mean? Yep. I've seen people act the fool online, and I just rather not work with them. So, like, Ryan is one of these people that I consider, like, of the highest integrity and just a great guy. And I know, like, whatever I've been able to purvey to him, like, he's going to go on and do that for other people. So I'm excited. Like, I keep telling people, like, all these unethical, jerks in this industry, I hope they've had fun. I hope it's been good because we're coming for you. Like me and all the people like me, not even the people who just work with me, but there's a lot of good dudes out there now. And we're going to put all these jokers out of business. So I'm looking forward to it.
So prepping Ryan for these last couple of contests, just give for the listeners kind of like a little synopsis of, so you got whatever you have, 26, 30 weeks, and you're seeing his conditioning come in, and how do you decide when you make the adjustments to, bump up his cardio a little or cut his carbs, or just kind of give us an overview?
Well, he was tricky because he actually was much different than he was the first time. We didn't have to get near as restrictive, and we didn't have to do near as much cardio. I mean, first time he was doing like over an hour cardio a day. Yeah, I mean, it was probably the most cardio I'd ever had somebody do. The first time we worked with him, yeah, when he won his pro card. And he just took a lot better care of his metabolism in the off-season this time, and it was much easier this time. But it was tricky in that he was getting tighter but not dropping weight. And so it was kind of like...
I believe I was 187 for 10 weeks.
Not a bad number.
I was 187 for 10 weeks, but we kept making... I looked different, but I was the same weight.
I've never really seen that happen before with somebody. I mean, sometimes you have weeks where somebody looks tighter and they didn't really drop weight, but over time they're typically losing some weight. Ryan wasn't, and so I really had to like look at the pictures and put them side by side and say, yeah, he's tighter, and so no changes, you know what I mean? So when I would start seeing some stagnation in weight pictures and waist measurement, that's when we would start changing things up.
Sure, gotcha. So Ryan, what's your take on kind of this prep versus the previous prep?
Not that it was a lot easier. I mean, the work exerted was just about the same. You know, it was just the amount of work was a lot less. You know, so like you said, just a better off season. I honestly think it had to do with coming into a prep 24 and 25 years old. It was just it's a different type of metabolism at this age. You know, I feel like I was eating a lot more food. It was difficult, but I wasn't that soul piercing hour and a half cardio hurt like it was last time. So that's done. So I mean, it was relatively easy in the first 13. The last 13, of course, you don't look like that without a little pain, you know. So, but yeah,
follow his vlogs if you haven't, and you will see a true account of what it takes.
Oh, and for everybody, I have to think of those vlogs, and I try to take like the best 8% of my thoughts. So try not to rush me on them. I got to think about that stuff. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
And if you're not following Ryan's vlogs, you're doing yourself a sincere. Don't even follow me. Like, follow him. His are better than mine. You're doing yourself a severe disservice.
So, Layne, you're mentioning other prep coaches and kind of, trying to get it to where the people that are left standing, I guess you could say, are the people that, belong in business and are doing great things for their clients. Are there any prep coaches in particular that you would recommend? We all know you're very good at, supporting other people to do good things for the sport.
Exactly.
They don't always have to work with you. They can kind of work with anyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyone that you recommend.
Well, like, who I recommend would be, first off, disclosure, I'm going to forget some people, so please forgive me. But, of course, Dr. Joe worked with me for a long time. He's one of the best. If you work with him, you're going to get great work. Ryan has been working with some people. I don't know if he does that now, if it's something he's looking to do more of. But I know he's worked with a few people who's done well. 3DMJ, those guys are awesome. My good friend Ben Escrow of De Novo Nutrition. Ben is one of the brightest guys out there. He's great. Paul Ravella, he's working with people now. Prophysique.com. Paul's a great guy, fantastic coach.
Competing right now, isn't he?
Yeah, competes this weekend. Looks great. Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it messes you up because it's Friday, Yeah, but Paul's a great guy, a great coach. William Grazione is working with people now. Good guy. Really great friend. Brian Ahlstrom working with people now. It's great because all these guys are people I've worked with. It's really cool. I know Cliff Wilson is, I think we probably disagree on some of the methods, but I know Cliff's a good guy, so I would tell people I'm never going to agree with somebody 100% on what they do. So, he's still a good guy and he's a real ethical guy. So Cliff is a good one. So, yeah, I mean, all those guys are great, and that's why I'm, really excited to see where natural bodybuilding goes in the next few years. And it's killing me because I know I'm forgetting some people. So I'm sorry. I really am sorry.
It's all good. So Mike and I were actually just joking a couple hours ago about Brian Ahlstrom. Is it inside the life of a natural bodybuilder? Is he the guy that's posing down against you in the overall, and then they announce that you win your pro card?
Yes. Yeah. Me and Brian were in the same overall. I was working with him at the time, and actually that was one of the most fun overalls because me and Brian get along great. He's a great guy. When I won my pro card, it was over him in the overall. And what was cool was he came up to me. He's like, you know what? I looked my best at this show, so I know you weren't trying to put anything over on me. And like I never would, because it's like I don't want to beat somebody because what reward is that? You might as well just shoot up some juice if you're gonna be that kind of person. You know what I mean? Because you got no soul. Well, how kind of weak-minded is that? If I want to beat somebody, I want to beat them at their best, at my best. You know what I mean? So anyway, it was awesome to see Brian get his first pro win. That's really cool. And then to see him do so well at Kansas City and the Universe, tough shows. So, I think Brian has done a lot with, the structure and genetics he's been given. So I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, for sure. So, Ryan, some of the listeners probably want to know, will we be seeing you at the Orton Cup? I think, Layne, I heard you have some personal plans that you're not able to attend, correct?
We have 4 weddings in the month of October. So, no, I cannot attend, unfortunately. I'd love to.
Sure. And Ryan, will you be there?
I will be there, but I won't be competing.
Okay.
Yeah, so we talked about this March 3rd or 4th. Me and him, we talked about it, and it was when I was starting this pro. Wow, that was 6 months ago. Crazy. Yeah, and we talked about it, and we said if I have the capacity to kind of get ready and if I want to do it, then yeah, let's do it. But I honestly just it sounds bad, but I just wasn't interested enough in the Jordan to do it this year. You know what I mean? So, hey, if you guys could bring it everywhere. Yeah. So, like, we need to put something over there. So, I honestly am not good at anything I'm not interested in, you know? So, I didn't have that same heart and that same soul. If I would have done the Jordan, I would have done it mostly for other people because they had to see how they wanted me to go. And I just wouldn't have had that. We were talking about it earlier, just this pure fire under you, man, that just makes you want to. I'd have been going through the motions, you know what I mean? So I just feel like I didn't feel like it's not my time. I just feel like it's not my time to do it this year.
Very true. I mean, when I did after the Orton Cup in 2010, I checked out mentally. I still did every single bout of cardio I was supposed to do. I still hit my macros, everything. I did the same thing, but mentally, I wasn't there with that same fire, and I didn't make any progress for those 3 weeks. And just, I can't explain it physically, but there certainly is a mental connection there. It's almost like the reason where every time you diet down, you can get leaner. You know what I mean? Because, once you get past the level of leanness you've been at before, you reach a point where you're, satisfied. You know what I mean? And so it gets difficult to go beyond that mentally. Whereas, if you've been there before, you're like, all right, I got to go past this. You know what I mean?
You kind of adapt this mentality that, well, this is the best I've looked. I deserve something. I deserve to kind of let back on the reins a little bit, and you feel like you're kind of content and satisfied there. So I got to the point where it didn't matter what time of the day it was, my glutes were in. 20. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if I was end of the day. I was looking. So and not that I got comfortable. It's just that I didn't have that fire in me to say, okay, well, I got down to 181, the lowest and biggest I've ever gotten for a contest. Let me push to 179. Could I have done it? Very sadly and depressed, yes. But it just that fire wasn't there for me to actually do it. We're doing an interview, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, man, no Jordan for me. I'll be there, though. I believe I'll be there. I just talked to Rob about it yesterday. I think I'll be there, but I won't be competing.
You guys are sponsoring the amateur?
Yeah, we're sponsoring the entire amateur show. So, and I realized that no one from Scivation was, representing it. I was like, so I'm planning on going out. There's not 100%, but I'm still a fan.
Our boy Paul Ravella may change that tomorrow, so go Paul.
Yeah. Paul may be competing depending on how.
If he qualifies, I think he said he would like to. So we'll see.
So Ryan, in your recent interview, you commented about the importance of sleep in your gains you made over the off season. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Layne can attest to this. There were points in my prep I would give him an update, and Layne's words were, "How was your sleep this week?" It's sleep for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's something that's to do with the REM cycles. It's just me personally. I have to sleep. I even felt contests where my peak weeks, where I have to adjust, you have to get up early, where I wasn't sleeping enough. I came in totally off. I don't know what it is about my body, but maybe there's some scientific approach to it. I'm not sure, but I have to sleep. I feel like I have the best results week to week with 8 hours of sleep every night.
Stress of not getting enough sleep will affect your fluid balance. You probably notice if you get less sleep, you wake up heavier. Not as crisp. Even though you would think, oh, well, I was up later doing more activity, I should be tighter. But the reality is people always say, ma'am, guys, it's okay. It's okay. So with sleep, the reality is that, you would think, oh, I'm doing less activity, I need less calories. But the reality is that your metabolic rate actually goes up in the latter parts of sleep. You actually burn more overall calories when you get a deep sleep. However, if you get less sleep, like the early cycles of sleep, your metabolic rate's a little bit lower. So if you're only getting 4 or 5 hours, you're not getting as much, metabolic boost as you would like.
Makes sense.
You have to sleep. There's no like Layne just explained. There's no point to do all of that work. I know sometimes I do some reps. Man, I've squatted and I've had whimpers, tears almost want to come out. And there's no point in going through all of that, and just to see detrimental effects from simply not going to bed,
So, Layne, how would you describe what an athlete might look for when they're trying to kind of balance? I mean, obviously, sleep is ideal, but we all know real life gets in the way sometimes, and trying to balance it all where you decide, whether eating or sleeping or getting your workouts in, things like that is most important.
I mean, I've told people to if they're very stressed and haven't slept in a while, I've told people. Who just rubbed my butt? That's weird. I've told people who are very stressed out and haven't been sleeping well. I'll be like, skip a workout. Not all the time, but they're going to get a crappy workout, it's going to be worthless. It's going to add to their stress, and they're going to get less sleep, and it's going to only exacerbate the problem. So if it takes that, sometimes I do that, or skip a cardio session or whatever. You know what I mean? I'd rather have somebody get their mind right, and be less stressed, and be able to continue on.
All right, so
not to say to not push your limits. There's a breaking point.
There's a fine
Yeah.
line. There's a fine line for sure. I mean, I'm not saying the first day you're tired, you don't want to go in. Oh well, Layne said skip my workout. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you've been going hard for freaking 3 weeks straight, and you know you can barely stand up, you're having trouble staying awake, stressed all the time, you got to weigh the ups and downs. You know.
So looking forward to the Orton Cup. Obviously, we have the Gaspari Pro and then the Georgia show this weekend as the remaining pro qualifiers, which could mix things up a little bit. But with what we know right now and possibly who may qualify at that show, we'll go with you first, Ryan. What are your predictions? Top in each class at the Orton.
As far as the heavyweights, is Henry Graham competing this year?
I know it sounds harder than IFBB. You don't have a list of people.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You got to go with him.
Yeah, as far as heavyweights, I don't think there's a heavy. Oh wow, I don't think there's a heavyweight that may show up this year that can touch him in that class. Middle.
We haven't seen it previously. There may be somebody that shows up, but we haven't seen them yet.
So I would say this is kind of that time of the year where it's like it's really hard to kind of make that call because you have two huge shows. I mean, these shows define careers, you know, these shows. So I would definitely say Rico is going to win his class. I saw him when I was on my birthday. He worked out with me on my birthday.
Same class.
I say Rico's got it.
I go with the champ until the champ is beat. So I'll tell you right straight up, I'm picking Rico to win the overall because until I see him get beat, I'm going to pick him every time.
There's something about Rico that in pictures
You don't get it.
you don't get it. You have to see just little. I mean, just everything on that.
I saw him guest pose at a show in Utah, and same thing. Just the way the muscle bellies pop is it's just unique. So any other final words? I know Mike was saying, Layne, you're going to be at the OCB Midwest States. You'll be making an appearance.
I'll have a booth at the OCB Midwest States. Please come by. I'd love to see you guys.
Selling the DVD.
I'll be selling the DVD. Probably selling some shirts too. So.
Yep, very good. All right, well, until next time, this is Ryan Doris with Layne Norton and John Bossi. We're here at the 2012 Mr. Olympia Expo. This is Inside Natural Bodybuilding. Thanks for watching.